Week 3 of the 2025 NFL regular season is here. It has been an incredible start to the season. A Super Bowl rematch already. Games with a 64-yard field goal to send it to overtime. Let's go over the Week 3 slate and preview and predict these games. Starting it off, let's go the opposite of the order here. So we'll start with Monday Night Football. A matchup between two great football teams. The Baltimore Ravens hosting the Detroit Lions. Baltimore's favored by 5 points in this game. Over-under is 51.5. I have the Ravens winning this game 34-26. Now, when I look at it, I immediately think, Week 1, Detroit, what did not work well for them? It was the run game. They could not get Jahmyr Gibbs going. They could not establish a pass rush to get pressure on Jordan Love. They were a mile away, and so their secondary was a mile away from being close to wide open Green Bay Packer wide receivers. That did not look good. Baltimore looked fast. They looked physical Week 1. They looked the exact same way in Week 2. I'm expecting Baltimore to win this game by 8 points, even considering it being 11-14 originally, but maybe a garbage time touchdown for Detroit. I don't think this game is going to be that close. I'm looking at two different caliber teams right now, not putting much weight in a win for Detroit against the Chicago Bears secondary that's missing their best two players in Kyler Gordon and Jalen Johnson. So you want to come out with that and say Detroit's fully back? Let's see them play Baltimore, and then we'll come out with that one. Chiefs-Giants, Sunday Night Football. Chiefs 24-17. Believe this game will be closer than people are thinking. Russell Wilson was pushing the football down the field. Are the Chiefs a different caliber defense than Dallas? Yes. But the Giants front four, Carter, Thibodeau, Burns, Lawrence, monsters. All of them. And what's the main issue for the Chiefs right now? It's their offensive line. Protecting Mahomes. He's running around the same way we have seen him do last season in the Super Bowl and a couple years ago in the Super Bowl it's happening this early. Him running this often is the worst. It would be better if you're giving up 30 points and you're winning games 35-30 and your offense looks great than your franchise cornerstone piece, your quarterback Mahomes, having to run the ball this much early because you can't run the football. These wide receivers aren't getting up. You don't have Rice, Worthy, I get that. But you're not getting him back immediately. Rice is still out for a couple more weeks. I still have the Chiefs winning this game 24-17, but a lot more pressure being 0-2. It's on the road. The Giants are going to bring it. That team is going to have juice after dropping all those points against the Cowboys, a game they should have won. Not giving up the yards to set up the field goal. That's still a very fun matchup. Must-win game for both teams. Cardinals, 49ers, AFC West showdown. No Brock Purdy for San Francisco. And seemingly no Marvin Harrison Jr. as an element of the Cardinals' forward passing attack. Where has the 4th overall pick from the 2024 draft been? He was getting all the targets last year. He had a good Week 1. But last week against Carolina, a game where he should maybe go for 145 and 2 tubs, limited on the stat sheet. That's not a good sign, especially going against the San Francisco defense. I will stay with Arizona. I believe they win this game 23-20. Mac Jones, quarterback controversy. People are saying Brock Purdy is better than Mac Jones, but it's interesting. You put a guy in the Kyle Shanahan offense. I'll do it. I'll throw some passes out there. I'll trot out there. I was a college athlete. I got horrible mechanics. I'll take my chances with Mac Jones to keep it close in that game. Cardinals 23-20. Fun AFC West matchup. Pair of 2-0 teams. Let's go. Saints and the Seahawks. Another AFC West team hosting New Orleans. New Orleans has been fighting. Tried in Week 1, Week 2. They have that young quarterback in Rattler who 3 touchdowns, no picks a week ago. Very good signs. They just don't have the horses that Seattle does. This is a young team, but they have a ton of talent. I like Seattle by the score of 25-16. Give the ball to Kenneth Walker a little bit more. I know Zacharias Charbonnet you like out of UCLA, but Walker, this kid has a different level of burst. And Cooper Kupp, we saw him show up. Now with him established and Jackson Smith and Jigba, my only concern was these guys are kind of the same dude with what they can do. But having two of them is better than one. And what we know about teams that are playoff caliber, even Super Bowl caliber, is they have two threats to throw the football to. So teams can't just focus on one. And they've got a good run game. Get Kenneth Walker going. Pretty good defense coming together there. Seahawks 25-16. Broncos and the Chargers 1-1 Denver after a tough loss against Indy. The Chargers look like one of the best teams in football with a confident Justin Herbert ripping the ball down the field. Quentin Johnston is catching the football. 3 touchdowns through 2 games. Games at SoFi Stadium. Come alive, SoFi Stadium against the Denver Broncos. Bo Nix. Something's cooking now. But with him and Troy Franklin, we're going to be talking a lot about Oregon on that Sunday. Expect to hear the word Oregon mentioned 20 times. Bo Nix versus Justin Herbert, the former Oregon quarterbacks. Troy Franklin, can he establish himself as a bigger target with Bo? They were great together with the Ducks. Can they keep that going? We saw more of it week 2, a little bit week 1. That would be awesome to see them going. But I got the Chargers 23-17. They just got too many weapons on the outside. Took a couple of rookies, like Keandre Lambert-Smith, out of Auburn, the transfer from Penn State, and now there's Trey Harris. These guys haven't even been major factors yet. Ladd McConkey, Quentin Johnson, and Keenan Allen. What a trio. And the other rookie, Amarion Hampton, he's making mistakes week 1, week 2. They get him going in that run game. This team is very dangerous in the AFC. Justin Herbert, when he plays with confidence, I don't know if there's a better throw of the football outside of Josh Allen in the NFL. I have the Chargers winning 23-17. I respect the Broncos defense, but I just respect that Charger offense right now and that offensive line, even without Slater playing at a very high level. The Texans and the Chargers, little AFC South matchup. Houston 0-2 now. Jacksonville, after that tough loss to Cincinnati, they had a shot. Burrow's out of the game against Browning and the call on Hunter, but a bounce back is necessary. Divisional matchup, here's your shot. Is it a kill shot? Maybe not quite, but you put Houston at 0-3. Now with the divisional loss, not just the 2 losses to the NFC, but 2 divisional losses? I just don't see a world where Houston doesn't get pressure on Lawrence. Can't say that anyone's been impressed by Trevor Lawrence so far this season. We're seeing a similar type of guy. Travis Hunter, it's obvious, is going to take more than probably 2 months until he's full speed and playing downhill and confident as a defensive back and running routes. And just fear a little bit for him in the middle of the field at times. It looks like he's got to still put on another 10 pounds, get up to like 205. They say he's like 188. I got to see it. Get him up to like 200 so he can run over the middle of the field. You could do that in college when defensive backs are 175, 180 in some cases, especially in the Big 12. But in the National Football League, you've got defensive backs that weigh 225 and 250. Travis Hunter, it will take time. It's clear he's got generational talent, but it will take time to fully put it together. But the Texans' defensive line, that defense kept him in the game. Against the Rams, it kept him in the game. Against the Bucs, 2 great football teams in the NFC. Get that offense going. They don't have Mixon right now. Clear that it hurts. Still have a lot of faith in Houston with Stroud. I got the Houston Texans with a 10-point win, 24-14. Atlanta Falcons at the Panthers. Love the divisional matchups. I have the Falcons with a big win here. That defensive line is coming together. The rookies are producing. Carter and Pierce Jr. are producing already. The SEC Dogs. One of them's a Georgia Bulldog. The other one's a Vol. Tough game. Vols and the Dogs this past weekend. Tennessee should have snapped that 8-game streak. These guys playing at that level. Michael Penix Jr. I thought he played as good of a game as anybody this week against that defense. Did they have the touch? No. But man, does he rip that football into tight windows, and he's got the weapons around him. That team is starting to come together with an identity around Bijan, passing the ball to the outside. They've got the threats. Atlanta Falcons, hello. 27-17, Falcons with the win over Carolina. Bryce Young, we're starting to see what people were fearful of in Carolina, that jump is not coming in year 3. You took Tet McMillan. You're trying to put playmakers around him. You took the first rounder in Leggett. He's not producing. Still have to see more about Nick Scourton, the SEC Defensive Player of the Year last year, and Princely Umamielen come together. The D-line could be very good as these guys get better. But Bryce Young, oof, that's tough. I got the Falcons at the 27-17 win. Commanders and the Raiders. It looks like the Jayden Daniels Commanders against Ashton Genty, Geno Smith, and the Raiders. Ashton Genty. You took the guy 6 overall. Let's give him more than 11 carries. Is there an injury right now? He doesn't look fully right, like he's hitting the hole. Maybe there just aren't big enough holes for him currently. Like, he's so close to breaking one, you would think, like, is there another back in the league that if they had the same holes to run through, are they hitting one of the... It just seemed like some of those chances on Monday night, he had a shot to break one. And I just, oof. They needed one of those plays. They needed an offensive, explosive play to get them fully in that game and have a chance to win it. They just could not create it. Geno was inaccurate. I've got a concern of them against that Commander front. Marcus Mariota with the win against the Raiders, 24-17. They pull it out. Run game without Eckler. I like the weapons. A bit more Deebo Samuel probably in the backfield. Him rotating with Bill, if that is the game plan they decide to go with. But a win for Washington at home. Jets and the Bucks. Look out, New York, because giving up 30 points, and now you got Tampa Bay heading in with a bunch of confidence. Now, Emeka Egbuka, is he healthy for this game? Yet to see the hip. 3 touchdowns through 2 games. The problem for the Jets is they've got one great corner, and that's it. They don't have other guys that they can lean on. When you got Mike Evans singled up with Sauce, Emeka Egbuka can kill you out of this. Wait till they get Chris Godwin back and Jalen McMillan. This Bucs offense now, Bucky Irving's the best back that they've had in a really long time. He's a dang good football player out of Oregon. I got the Bucs 27-13. Jets don't have their starter in Justin Fields. Tyrod Taylor's mobile, but he doesn't present anywhere near the threat that Justin does. Bucs by a landslide. Tough for New York early in the year. Rams and the Eagles. What a game. 2-2-0 teams. Both won their division a year ago. A rematch of the divisional round last year. The only competitive game the Eagles played in the playoffs was against the Rams. They sacked Jalen Hurts 6 times. Snow's coming down in the fourth quarter. What a match. Jared Verse for LA saying, I hate that. You love that these teams don't like each other. How about Saquon Barkley? He had, 4 rushing touchdowns for over 50 yards last year. Jalen Hurts joined the party with a big rushing touchdown in that playoff game. How do the Rams stop the run? And secondly, how do they fare against the Vic Fangio defense? Now, with Devontae Adams now, it's almost like they can have that step up on Philly. They've got that burst in the backfield with Kyron. Offensive line's holding up, but with Adams and Puka, part of me has a feeling that they just might turn it loose and throw the football 40 yards and Stafford has a day. Now, does he have time? But it was clear in their game plan against the Houston Texans, the ball was coming out quick. He'll need to do that against Philly. Does Philly double Nakua and double Devontae Adams and they leave the rest of the core with one on? That's something we might see. Do they have a third guy? And Devontae Adams is as good of a number 2 in the league as you can get. He does so much, motioning him, Stafford being able to identify coverages. McVay is so good at that. We have a veteran like Stafford. You know what they're running pretty much. Vic Fangio will be as good as disguising. This is the type of game that gets you just excited. Can we get this game already? Philadelphia, the weapons they have. Let's use A.J. Brown. You're making me look bad saying he's the 5th best wide receiver in football. He's not even getting a chance to show people that he is. Still, they're 2-0. They beat the defending runner-ups, right? 2 Super Bowls, and then they lose to you guys. But Philly, A.J. Brown, get him the football a little bit more. They have an advantage this week going up against that Rams secondary. That Rams front 7, though, maybe the best in football. You got 2 of the best defenses in in the NFL. I got the Eagles 26-23. That run game, I haven't seen the Rams handle Saquon Barkley yet. Until I do, I'm going to go with Philadelphia. Steelers and the Patriots, the two most successful franchises in history, 6 Super Bowls apiece. At Gillette Stadium, Drake May versus Aaron Rodgers, the young hot shot versus the old hot shot. Can Rodgers establish something with DK Metcalf, and can Drake May play turnoverless football? Are they going to give Travion Henderson a chance? 5 carries week? He's got 3 carries last week? Let's get our second round to pick the ball more. Is he hurt? Tell us. Let me know so I stop talking about him, expecting him to get the football more. I got the Patriots 24-23. Pittsburgh scared me a little bit last week in that loss to Seattle. I thought that offense is more explosive. They had a great win against the Jets. I got to see more consistent play, separation from their wide receivers out of what we've seen so far. Pittsburgh looks like they're a 9-8 football team. Is that enough? So New England looked like a 9-8 football team, that they could be at that level. Vrabel's changing that identity. This is huge. This might decide who gets in the playoffs. Week 3, people, pay attention. We're in late December. We might be seeing a wild card come down to who won that game and has the tiebreaker. Stay with a keen eye on that. The Cincinnati Bengals and their backup quarterback Jake Browning after Burrow goes down. The Minnesota Vikings with Carson Wentz after their starter J.J. McCarthy goes down. The backup bowl live from Minneapolis, Minnesota. I've got Minnesota 23-20 solely based off the fact they showed that Mason can run the ball in that second half for Chicago. Last week, there were some signs of it, and they still got a great defense. Great pass rush. The concern, obviously, will be, can they keep Carson Wentz upright against Cincinnati? But luckily, Cincinnati hasn't shown us yet that they have a very good defense. They can. Hendrickson, can Shamar Stewart turn into a monster? Maybe. But for now, I like Minnesota's defense. I don't like their O-line. I like them in a tight one, 23-20 at home. The Colts 2-0. Daniel Jones. Danny Dimes is back. The real Danny Dimes. Not the Danny Dimes people make fun of. The Danny Dimes that took the Giants to the playoffs a couple years ago. That won a playoff game against the Minnesota Vikings. That Danny Dimes. So the Colts, 3.5-point favorite at the Titans. I like them 24-13. Love Zaire Franklin, Buckner, Kenny Moore, Latu. That defense is loaded with play. Imagine if they still had Darius Leonard Shaq. Imagine if they still had him healthy. I just imagine he's one of the biggest what ifs that'll go down in NFL history. If that guy has stayed healthy, he had something like 28 takeaways in his first 4 years in the NFL. Incredible player. Imagine if they had that. Just thought I would bring that up for a little reminiscing for you Colts fans. But I like them to beat Tennessee. Jonathan Taylor, get 24 carries. Don't turn the ball over. Daniel Jones, you haven't so far this year. I like them with a nice win on the road. Packers and the Browns. Just double team Myles Garrett every play. Threaten that Browns secondary, which has shown that they're susceptible to deeper plays. I mean, besides Denzel Ward, like, run the ball opposite of Myles Garrett and throw the ball opposite of Denzel Ward. Pretty simple, Matt LaFleur. Pretty simple. Packers 26-10. This defense, they could shut out Cleveland. I'm serious. The way they looked in corralling that Lions offense, Amon-Ra Jameson, Jameer Montgomery, like, wow. And then what they did to Washington and Jayden, the sprained knee, but what they did to those two teams, impressive. Cleveland, not much of a risk to them, 26-10. The Cowboys and the Bears. This looks like a shootout from the Windy City. The only reason I don't have both teams scoring over 40 points is that it's at Soldier Field. It's not in Dallas where there's turf. Soldier Field grass will not allow Pickens and Lamb to cut the way that they are used to. Nobody can on that field. I still have 51 points. I got the Cowboys winning 27-24. That Bears secondary is decimated. You hate to see a team that came in and truthfully could say we have a top 10, 12 defense, specifically secondary in football. And you see one of the best nickel corners in Kyler Gordon hasn't been on the field, and one of the best true corners in football, Jalen Johnson, may be out for the season unless they're competitive late in the year. A lot of points scored in this game. Dallas just has better weapons than Chicago has defenders for this. Hard not to see the points scored and that you see Dak Prescott come up with one or two big enough plays for them to beat Chicago. Last game, the Thursday night game, Dolphins at the Bills. I've got a Bills blowout, 31-17. There may be an early firing, the first firing of the year. Mike McDaniel. I'm not going to say the negative stuff. I'm just going to say the analysis. This team has not looked clean. They haven't looked tough. And they haven't looked like they have pride. You've got a chance at the end of that game last week against your rival in the Patriots, and you have two back-to-back penalties that set you at 1st and 20. You're going down the field, score a touchdown. That can't happen. The Dolphins, 31-17. They get blown out at home, 0-3. They're at the Bills, Dolphins at the Bills. They lose 14. I think it could be a 24-point game. They get a little bit of garbage time points. Are they stopping Josh Allen? No. Well, they could get Kenneth Grant could have a great day. Jordan Brooks maybe has a turnover. Minka Fitzpatrick, but that Buffalo offense, that O-line, hard not to see them with the dominating win. That is our picks for the week. Let me know down below what you think. What picks would you agree with? Which ones do you hate? Would you go the other way on? I know that they might be Detroit, Baltimore. Games like Eagles, Rams go so different ways, and you've got great teams matching up. Let me know all of your thoughts down below. Want to hear from you guys. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe for more content in the future. Don't want to miss the breakdowns. We make college NFL content every day. So fired up. Football is back, and it's back as great as ever. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.
Best player in college football.
That Georgia and Ohio State game, New Year's Eve, is going to be a classic.
Josh Blunder. Hi, everybody. I'm Josh Blunder.